Hi, welcome back. Thanks for clicking on my video and welcome to Mysteries Channel. Today's video is going to be about a place that I've seen several times from afar. I've driven past it plenty of times and I always thought in my head, I'm gonna go there one day. And I never went there. And then I moved in the area and I totally regret it. It's very beautiful. The area itself is kind of a place that like assaults your senses. I don't even know. This is Northeast Wyoming, Montana. I mean, this whole area of the country, if you have never been to the side of the country when you first get there, it plays tricks on your mind. Like you can't conceptualize the distance that you're seeing. And because you are seeing for such great distances, sometimes you see something that you think you can literally walk to in an hour and it would take you days to get there. It's weird. Anyway, the place that I'm talking about has a lot of controversy tied to it. And well, let me just break it down. Can you imagine a place so holy to your culture that for thousands of years, pilgrimages have been undertaken for spiritual visions. A place that has legends and myths tied to it, passed down since the beginning of your people. A place where invaders come, rename it, trample it, use it as a playground, a selfie backdrop, and a open air trash can. That's right, people. I am doing a video on a place that I'm going to start probably calling Bear's Lodge. You might not have heard of that. You probably know it as Devil's Tower. Devil's Tower was the first U.S. national monument established on September 24th, 1906 by President Theodore Roosevelt. The monument's boundary encloses an area of 1,347 miles. And the name itself originated in 1875 by an expedition led by Colonel Richard Dodge, when his interpreter reportedly misinterpreted the native name to mean Bad God's Tower. Pretty wild misinterpretation. And it's super jacked up when you consider that this is a highly significant place to many tribes, not just like, a few or a couple of people. In 2005, a proposal was made to change the designation of the monolith as Bear Lodge National Historic Landmark. It was met by opposition from United States Representative Barbara Cuban, arguing that a name change will harm the tourist trade and bring economic hardship to the area communities. In 2014, Avril Looking Horse proposed renaming the geographic feature as Bear Lodge and submitted a request to the United States Board on Geographic Names. A proposal was submitted, and this proposal requested that the U.S. acknowledge its offensive mistake and to rename the monument and sacred site Bear Lodge National Historic Landmark. The formal comment period ended in 2015. Local state senator Ogden Driscoll opposed the change. The name was not changed. Politicians, am I right? Seriously though, are you that absent of critical thinking that you couldn't come up with any sort of campaign to draw people in to visit the newly named Bear Lodge? And because I lived in the area, or somewhat close to the area, I will say this. I'm not saying people don't go to the Bear Lodge area. I'm just saying people don't go there just for that area. For the most part, people that are going to Bear Lodge are stopping there on their way to go to Yellowstone National Park, which is on the other side of the state. I'm just saying that, man, you could have used this as an opportunity to smooth over some relations with the natives in the area, could have rebranded this area so that people understood the holy significance of this area and maybe wouldn't treat it like it's a freaking trash can. And I bet that you would have not lost any tourists to it at all, and maybe even increased some tourists because it would have garnered some national attention. But hey, what do I know? I'm not in politics. True Native American names for the monolith include Bear's House, Bear's Lodge, Bear's Teepee, which I personally think is pretty awesome, Home of the Bear, Bear's Lair, also has a nice ring to it, Aloft on a Rock, and Tree Rock. That's right, that dang tree comes back again. And it's interesting because once you see that tower and you hear petrified tree, gosh, you can't really unsee it, right? You're just like, I don't know, I've never been there, but it kind of looks like it. Personally, I don't think it's a tree because I went and I looked up the legend and the legend doesn't have anything to do with the tree. And it closely resembles historical fact, oddly enough, in a Greek mythology kind of way. So there are a few different versions to this lore. I'm just going to go over a couple of them because otherwise it'd probably be another half an hour long video. So that being said, according to the Kiowa and the Lakota, a group of girls went out to play and were spotted by several giant bears. The girls climbed atop a rock, fell to their knees, and prayed to the Great Spirit to save them. them. Hearing their prayers, the Great Spirit made the rock rise from the ground towards the heavens so that the bears could not reach the girls. The bears, in an effort to climb the rock, left deep claw marks going down the side. When the girls reached the top, they looked up to the sky, and they were turned into a group of stars known as the Pleiades. This is, I believe, the Sioux version. The Sioux version say that two boys wandered off from their village. Mato, the bear, a huge creature that had claws the size of teepee poles, spotted them and wanted to eat them for breakfast. He was almost upon them when the boys prayed to Wakan Tonka, the creator, to help them. They rose up on a huge rock while Mato tried to get them from every side, leaving huge scratch marks on the sides as he did. Finally, he sauntered off disappointed and discouraged. The bear came to rest east of the Black Hills at what is now called Bear Butte. Wambly, the eagle, helped the boys off the rock and back to their village. A painting depicting this legend hangs over the fireplace in the visitors center, and this is the Cheyenne version. I really tried to look up and see what tribe was most native to this actual area, and they all are in the vicinity of this area. But when you look at the maps now, it shows most definitely that there are the most Cheyenne right here that reside in the actual all around the vicinity of Bears Lodge. So I think this one might be the most predominant one. But I'll say this, it's very hard to know because of the huge displacement that happened in the Cheyenne version. The giant bear pursues girls and kills most of them. Two sisters escape back to their home with the bear still tracking them. They tell two boys that the bear can only be killed with an arrow shot through the underside of its foot. The boys have the sisters lead the bear to Bear's Tower and trick it into thinking that they have climbed the rock. The boys attempt to shoot the bear while it repeatedly attempts to climb the rock. As it climbs up, it slides back down, leaving those markings that we're familiar with today. One of the arrows comes close to the bear's foot and it scares the bear off. The last arrow continued to go up and never come back down. And then here's one last legend I'll throw in that I found from it. It comes by way of a man named Wooden Leg. Wooden Leg is a northern Cheyenne warrior who fought against Custer at the Battle of the Bighorn. Wooden Leg related a legend told to him by an old man as they traveled together past Bear's Lodge around 1866 to 1868. A Native American man decided to sleep at the base of Bear Lodge next to a buffalo head. In the morning, he found that both he and the buffalo head had been transported to the very top of the rock by the Great Medicine with no way down. He spent another day and night at the very top of that rock with no food and no water. After he had prayed all day and then gone to sleep, he awoke to find that the Great Medicine had brought him back down to the ground, but he left the buffalo head at the very top near the ledge. Wooden Leg maintained that the buffalo head was clearly visible through the old man's eyeglass. At the time, the tower had never been climbed, and a buffalo head at the top would have been completely inexplicable. Now, the buffalo head gives the Cheyenne a very special significance for the Northern Cheyenne. All the Cheyenne maintain that their camps a sacred teepee to the Great Medicine containing the tribal sacred objects. In the case of the Northern Cheyenne, that sacred object was a buffalo head. So, what does the geological survey of the area say? Is it a tree? Is it a rock? What the heck is it? The tower is a solitary, stump-shaped formation of dark red sandstone and maroon siltstone, interbred with shale. Oxidation of iron minerals causes the redness of the rock. The rock layer is known as Spearfish Formation. Above the Spearfish Formation is a thin band of white gypsum called the Gypsum Springs Formation. It was created as sea levels and climates repeatedly changed. Gray-green shales deposited in low oxygen environments such as marshes were interbred with fine-grained sandstones, limestones, and sometimes thin beds of red mudstone. Because of the concentration of these very specific stones, they are very weather resistant. So these stones kind of formed over the area, and then about 56 to 65 million years ago, the Rocky Mountains and the Black Hills were uplifted. Magma rose through the crust, intruding into the existing sedimentary rock layers, pushing it straight up. Interesting, it is a rock that goes straight up, just like legend says. And I just want to know how in the heck they know this stuff. I mean, seriously, how would they know what happened 55 to 66 million years ago? Sometimes it just friggin' blows my mind. This is an extreme case from a very long time ago, and maybe it's obvious to a lot of people. I mean, there are a lot of volcanoes in the area. Well, there's one big mega-ass volcano in the area. So the Native Americans, of course, knew that there are hot spots over there, right? There's geysers, there's a lot of stuff going on. So maybe they actually just knew about it, because I don't think anybody was there to like record it, pass it down from lip to ear for generations. But it is interesting that another one of their stories tells us the history. And it gets me to this thought. In Native American lore, and possibly all lore of the past, legend and history are tightly woven together. Sometimes it's impossible to say where imagination has begun and where it has ended. It's like a fabric in the historical tapestry, right? Something to note. With the pre-Columbian Native Americans, everything that they did individually or as a tribe held a much deeper, significant meaning, an inner meaning. From the dances of the tribe, hunts, smoking of the tobacco, legends passed down from the lips of the elders to the ears of the youth, held the utmost significance. When we hear their legends today, and then we hear scholars decry them as fanciful stories, I want to remind those listening that many histories of fact from antiquity tell a history mixed with a lesson. Examples I can come up with off the top of my head are Helen of Troy, the Calamus story of the creation of Crater Lake, or the Tales of the Quest Star by Ibn Sina that turned out to be a supernova. My point is this. Today, we're blasted with 30-second blips that we call information. In the past, it was much different. Not only were the stories longer, but they served two purposes. The first purpose was to tell younger generations of a significant event from the ancient past that affected all of us, or all of the people in an area. And the second purpose was to teach a lesson that can be learned from that said event, or another lesson that pairs well with learning of the event. So I don't want to discount everything the scholars say, because obviously I'm using the geological survey to prove that the Native American story is true. We both have truths here. Let's just not discount the oldest stories, because I don't know, the more you look at it, the more you're like, how the hell did they do that? I mean, like, son of a bitch, how did they know? I just want to know. It drives me nuts. Anyway, sorry. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, subscribe. Leave me some comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me if there's any really cool stories from your area, because I'll tell you what, we didn't learn a lot about Native American studies when I was a kid. I'm sure it's different now. Things have definitely changed over the course of time, but I was an adult. I was an adult when I learned about Serpent Mound. Blows my freaking mind. You guys have yourselves a great day.